Welcome everybody to another episode of the Kayfabe Soup podcast. I am your host, Gran Reducer Jr. I am here today with Intern and Argyle. It looks like we're gonna be the core trio for this podcast going on in. Whether Habes, PBR, or anybody else decides to join us, we don't know. With going that, would you guys like to say hi?
Yo, Pod Squad, what's up? Top guys, superstars, patrons, Predictions Game members, Fantasy Wrestling members, podcast regulars, YouTube subscribers, and did I miss anybody?
Probably, but we'll run with it.
All of you out there, this is your captain speaking, Argyle here. How's it going? How you doing?
This is the intern, and today I'm being played by Alex Marvez on Double or Nothing commentary. You can tell I am excited to be here.
all the emotions in there.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, so before we get into AEWs Double or Nothing, which is going to be our main topic, I would like to speak about the fantasy wrestling up front. We just finished week 2. We're gonna go through the 3 different leagues and see who came up on top.
What if I don't want to talk about fantasy wrestling?
Because you lost, that's why.
That's exactly why.
Yeah, you know I'm gonna rub it in. I'm gonna rub it in. Because who'd you lose to?
Some jobber. That's the worst part.
Some jobber. We'll get to it.
That's gonna be the worst.
Okay. So starting off with the Hayes League, Intern with 39.9 beat PBR 14.5 in the battle of the admins for Kayfabe Soup.
I thought you were gonna say battle with really low points because those sound pathetic, and I'm not even happy with that win unless other people scored low. Then I'm fine.
I have no roll-up victory.
I guess I don't know because you say low and you might be right because I'm looking at the next score, which is Caleb Hopwood with 71.7 over Katie Bluell with 21.9. So
great job, Katie.
So far, top score is 71.7. Where we at? Stephen Colloon with 52.3 over Lindsay Johnson with 36.4. And then Bradley D. Lineback. That name. I think we're gonna bring that up later.
Yeah.
Had a little bye week here with 31.2 points. So not the lowest. Highest on this one was Caleb Hopwood. Lowest was Katie Bluell. Moving on.
Was PBR.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
Gotta rub it in his face when he's not here. Come on,
dude. He's
again.
Not here. Well, you are PB. He's not even trying.
What did PBR get in week 1? Like 4 points?
I don't know. I think it's like
pretty low.
It was lower than the number that I had this week in the predictions game.
Very good.
Which was only 7 points. It was made at those picks were made at a really wrong time.
You know, I beat you there.
Okay, but you didn't win, so that doesn't matter.
That's true.
And a battle royal doesn't matter if you go out first or last, you still lose.
Yeah.
All right. Going on with the Roberts League, we have in the battle of the admins, we have Jabarella, who I thinking is now going by MW1 again. I don't know what's going on with her. She has 55.7 points over Habes with 30.6. Moving on, we have John LaDavia with 28.6 over Matthew Gibson with 22.2. We have Jesse Sutherland with 58.6 over Brandon Hilt with 35.4. And then this week's bye for the Roberts group is Dylan Bonacci with 34 points. Nothing much to say here. Like, none of the games are really a blowout. 20-point games. Yeah. No. Caleb Hopwood still has top score, and PBR still has low score. Now moving on to the Gordy group. In the battle of the admins, Grant Resistor Jr., with 55.6, beat the captain, Argyle, with 29.6. Devastating.
Wow.
Those were some Orange Cassidy kicks there.
Yeah. I'm so
Oh man. Next one is Kaden Gerke with 34.9 over new lowest score Joshua Newberry with 9.3.
Yes. Hold on. Let me get a round of applause. Going for Jay News. Very good.
Richard Corrigan with 60.4 beating Scott Lugwood with 39.4. And then this week's bye was Kevin Golden with 55.7. So yeah, that was our fantasy wrestling. Week 3 is already started, right? I don't think we have anything.
Who was the top scorer for the whole league?
The whole league, it was Caleb Hopwood with 71.7.
Dang, you deserve it.
Okay, so yeah, that was the fantasy league. This past weekend we had an AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view, and with that pay-per-view, us as admins decided to throw a predictions game, which usually stand for only WWE events, but since it's AEW, it was pretty huge, and we just decided to throw a predictions game. Who was our winner in that?
Our winner was Bradley Linebeck with 48 points.
48, very nice. Like I said earlier, I think I got low score on that, was 7. I did horribly, but that's neither here or there. Bradley won a T-shirt from, was it Pro Wrestling Tees?
Pro Wrestling Tees, yeah, and he picked like the red or burgundy Jim Ross shirt, and that's the one that I was actually gonna get had I won. So I'm jealous, and Bradley, if you're listening, I'm gonna order that up tonight, tomorrow. Don't beat me up. It's coming.
Yeah, and the only way he got to win that is by being a Patreon. He did get top score as well, but like let's say he wasn't a Patreon, got top score, it would have gone to the top Patreon. So congratulations, Bradley.
Seriously, some of you guys aren't patrons yet.
There's a lot of them. A lot of jobbers.
Too many.
A lot of them. I'm pretty sure a lot of those people are like the same people that who were chanting "Who are you?" to the Super Smash Brothers at AEW. I will not let that die.
Yeah.
Will not let that die. But we'll get to that in a bit. So AEW's Double or Nothing. Started off with the Battle Royal. First of all, I would like to say that throughout the whole pay-per-view, other than that one little spot, this crowd was freaking amazing. They were chanting, they were booing, they were reacting to pretty much everything. They weren't just sitting on their hands. Like most of the crowd in WWE.
Though I do have to say,
great.
how hilarious would it be if the crowd came out and just started WWE chants like they did on Raw this week with AEW chants?
They better keep up with AEW better keep up with what they're giving now, because if they go down south, I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, pretty much. Or even worse, start trying Ring of Honor chants. That'd be the biggest slap in the face to any wrestling promotion right now, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely bottom. Anyway, so Battle Royal starts off with 5 men, with 5 of them in the ring, and I forgot. I think it was like every 3 minutes, every 2 minutes. I forgot how many, but 5 more were entered at one time. First of all, I would like to say how dumb that was. If they're gonna do a battle royal, either have everybody start in the ring, or go the Royal Rumble route where it's one at a time, because a lot of these people did not get like a proper entrance at all, and that kind of kills like a lot. That kind of kills a lot of the vibe when people enter the ring. The only one that got that was Adam Page, who came in at 21. But yeah, the battle royal happened. There was, at times I felt like there was too much going on. I don't know how you guys felt about that, but
especially where everything that was going on was like so much just comedies gaga. But it was definitely too much going on for the camera people to capture.
Yeah, the one spot that I'm pretty sure everybody pointed out was it was Joey Janela that got a cigarette stapled to his forehead,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they got to it after the staple thing happened.
Yeah, so all I saw was him just saying it, him just in the ring going, "Ah," with a cigarette on his head, and just made him look like an idiot.
Yeah. They missed that spot. They missed a lot. There was a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of times where a lot of things were going on, and there was this one specific spot where everybody was on the ground, and I'm kind of like, I feel like somebody should get up and start wrestling here.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah,
happened?
that and a lot on this pay-per-view I think really kind of showed you the glaring difference between the WWE production and
No, for sure, yeah,
AEW.
yeah. That's something they have
Hopefully
to
that
work on.
stuff all the kinks will be worked out as they go. Because it might be kind of painful, especially for their weekly television, if they keep botching, directing spots like that.
Yeah, because it wasn't just the battle royal where there were spots like this, but there was who's the guy that's in WWE that does the cameras?
Kevin Dunn.
Who does the camera?
Kevin Dunn. Yeah. At times I'm like, Jesus, Kevin Dunn would have done a better job with this. There was so much cutting.
It's just like WWE does do a really great job at like attention to detail. I mean, it's kind of like they're like the Disney of professional wrestling. They don't really cut so many corners when it comes to production like that.
Yeah.
Creative writing is a different story, but when it comes to when it comes to production and stuff, they're pretty spot on.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to think of some spots that happened. There was a lot of what happened. MJF pretty much was the villain of this entire.
MJF is a star, man. I was gonna save this for a later segment when if we were gonna talk about the championship belt.
No, yeah, we would get there, but
man, he's the future. He's a part of the future of this company, I think.
Yeah, the other day uploaded a GIF of Samoa Joe walking down, and Samoa Joe completely pushes him off.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good.
And people were just like, "Holy crap, that looks like him!" And other people actually got in, like, "Yeah, because that's him."
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's one of those where who was it? It was Sean Spears that got super kicked by Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I forgot what was I just kicked. I forgot what was the guy's name.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name now, but yeah. Are you happy?
Yeah, exactly. It was stuff like that. It's totally like years in the future, and then years into the future, and then they just show up. What else? There's
a spot that I'll always pop for that they did in that, and I think it's Ace Romero, where he basically just takes out somebody. Like
the pounce.
Yeah.
Dude, that was great.
Was it Jungle Boy that he took out? I believe so, but yeah, he just completely just annihilates somebody and throws them out of the ring.
Yeah,
I was looking forward to that. And I'm glad.
Yes, it was. Ace Romero eliminated Jungle Boy. It was great with the pounce.
I still have to laugh at Sean Spears getting eliminated by a dude with no legs.
That's right. Yeah. Did Sean Spears eliminate anybody?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, right? I wonder how they're gonna move forward with him. Other than what happened in the main event, after the main event, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of eyes on Sean Spears just because of who he was and what he has to prove.
Yep, no, Sean Spears did not eliminate anyone. Glacier got more eliminations than Sean Spears.
Yeah. Who did he eliminate?
Glacier eliminated Sunny Days.
Sunny Days, that's right. Yeah. Who came out here really well? Luchasaurus did a great job to the point where they just recently signed him. He did great. People loved him.
He's gonna be big for them too. Yeah, he's
gonna be great.
MJ, sorry, not MJF. It was Luchasaurus that got most eliminations at 4, but MJF came up one behind with 3, so that's good.
Yeah, who else was here? Another good spot was the Orange Cassidy with Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, that was so brilliant.
Okay, first of all, I would like to say that there was only 21 competitors in this match, even though the announced team said there was 22. It's just the fact that Orange Cassidy took his time to get to the ring, whereas Adam Page surpassed him to the ring. And then
Yeah.
by the time he got there, they're like, "Oh, number 22." But no, he came out with the Spades group.
Yeah, he was actually number 15 according to Wikipedia. I gotta say, man, watching him do a kip up with one hand in his pocket will never stop popping me.
Yeah, he came off great. I love how the fans played up to those kicks to Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, that was great.
I do have a question though, Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah.
I think I have the wrong person in mind. Who's the guy that's like running around like in a dress and a crown? He's also like a hardcore guy. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
He was in a dress in this match?
No.
Just in the indie
Like
scene in general.
yeah, in the indie scene in general. I thought it was Jimmy Havoc. But I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is. I don't think that's. I mean, it could be Jimmy Havoc. I just haven't seen it, but I can't place that off the top of my head.
I'll keep thinking about it, but I think it was him. If not, I have no idea who I'm talking about anymore because um I don't know, but yeah, Jimmy Havoc came off. Um he's already started tweeting certain wrestlers of what he wants to do or just like building up towards what AEW wants to do. Um anyways, Adam Page came in at 21 by last eliminating MJF to win the 21 Casino Battle Royal.
With that great little teaser they did, where they made it look like MJF was gonna take a hiatus, then sneak attack him and win, but nope, Adam Page was one step ahead of him.
Yeah. How shocked were you guys that Adam Page won?
Not at all.
Not very. No.
Yeah, same. I had Adam Page to win it. I wrote down duh as like obviously he's gonna win. Um but yeah, Adam Page was in the Battle Royal just because of the whole Pac not wanting to show up.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the Battle Royal. Then we get into what was the fight? What's the next match?
It was that Kip Sabian, aka Jordan Devlin plus Finn Balor clone versus Sammy Guevara.
That's right. Kip Sabian was great.
He was kind of rubbed me the wrong way in a good way that he's got too many moves named after Harry Potter references, but I can forgive that.
I didn't even pick that up.
Yeah, his finisher was called the Deathly Hollows, for goodness sakes.
Oh, I don't remember that. But yeah, it was a good match. Where was it? The only thing I wrote down that happened in this match was Sammy's shooting star press. I don't know if you remember this.
That was really good.
Unfortunately, this match was a casualty to my broken live stream. This was around the time that I was flipping around trying to find a good one.
Sure, this was on the pre-show. That the live stream worked fine for me anyway. For that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd find one for a good minute or two.
Okay.
Switch to another one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Until later, obviously, when I found that good one.
Yeah. So those two were the pre-show matches. I honestly think. Actually, let's go on to the next one. Next match was the SoCal Uncensored match versus the Strong Hearts. I feel like this match should have been in the freaking in the pre-show because the Battle Royal and then the Kip Sabian and the Sammy match. If I was basing my potential to buy this pay-per-view off those two matches, I would have said no. But then the SoCal Uncensored match with the Strong Hearts, it was just beyond. It was great. I thought it was great. they have the veterans of Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. And me and Intern were talking previously how great Daniels and Kazarian are still going at it. They just looked amazing. And then people were just loving the Strong Hearts.
Yeah, I was telling GRJ earlier. I've seen so many people on the internet just commenting, "Oh, El Lindeman's my new favorite wrestler now."
Yes, he was for me.
discount Minoru Suzuki, and I mean that in the best way possible. Really won people over.
But yeah, that's
awesome.
how I have it written down. I could not get Minoru Suzuki out of my head.
What's also great about this match, as I pointed out when GRJ and I were talking before we started recording, is just take a drink for every time that Jim Ross called Strong Hearts Chinese wrestlers because they happen to wrestle for a Chinese company. Whoops.
Yeah, these guys are from Japan. But
yeah.
Oh, Intern, do you want to smarten us up real quick about Christopher Daniels and that old WWD story?
Yeah, I can't remember which podcast. I heard on a couple of different podcasts of that, but does everyone remember the whole higher power angle? It was me, Austin.
Yes, of
course you remember that. Well, apparently, the creative forces had actually originally recommended a young with long hair fallen angels Christopher Daniels to play that role. Unfortunately, Vince took one look at him, and as Bruce Pritchard was saying, said, "He's so tiny," and that whole idea was vetoed, sadly. But
we got a good moment out of it.
Yeah,
that's an iconic moment.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
It's one that we still talk about.
Yeah, I feel like how you said, you guys remember that, and like everybody remembers that, especially when you do like, "It was me, Austin." Like people automatically, I could picture Vince's face.
Yeah, I find myself like almost on a daily basis thinking that in my head, just in my daily life, of like someone's like, "Oh, who did this?" And in the back of my head, I'm like, "It was."
Yep.
I have to restrain myself from saying it out loud because people will think I'm just crazy.
Until you get somebody named Austin that actually says that, and then you go full Vince on it. What else happened? Yeah, this match was just great. Like I said, I felt like they should have been on the pre-show.
It's kind of funny because it should have been on the pre-show in order to try to hook those last-minute buys, but at the same time, it was the perfect opener for, on the show proper because it really made sure to keep that crowd awake and popped up and full of energy. So hard to tell.
Yeah, it was a great match. They did mention that SCU was training in China, with a lot of the people out there, and it showed in this match. I'm pretty sure they went over a lot. It was very fluent, pretty much the whole match. There was a misstep here or there. I think it was during like the Northern Lights suplex. I'm not 100% sure. That's what's popping in my head right now. How did they finish it? It was the best Meltzer ever, right?
Yeah, that was it. That was exactly.
That was the big finish. And then I don't know if you guys watched this, but Christopher Daniels trips over one of the guys that was laying on the ground after the win. I thought that was
cool. Yeah.
What have we got next? It was
next, the women's three-way wink wink.
The wink wink three-way. So it was supposed to be Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. The three women were in the ring. Out comes Brandy Rhodes, and she said that they pretty much said that everything that she told them was true, but she wants to make it a little bit more awesome. And that's when Awesome Kong came out. I kind of popped for this. I remember Awesome Kong in TNA.
Yep.
I remember her in the Indies when she went undefeated, for freaking ever. And I forgot who was. It was Sarah Del Rey, the one that finally took her down.
Yeah, that's right.
It's one of my older.
She almost became a thing in the WWE, but that never happened.
Yeah, see, like that was one of the things. Is she came to WWE and then she got pregnant, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyways, before that, before they came out, they showed Allie on the commentary desk. I think she
yeah.
did. I think I think she did a great job on commentary. She
Yeah, she should have kicked
wasn't.
Marbez off and just replaced him full time.
Yeah, something. I don't know. She did great. I'm excited for Ali. I hope AEW treats her well. I know who's her tag team partner in freaking TNA. It's Rosemary. Rosemary.
Yeah, Rosemary.
Rosemary. I know Rosemary just signed a TNA contract. But I hope once that's over, she goes over to TNA or over to AEW and continues with Ali. Anyways, going into the actual match, the only thing I could say that kind of bugged me was Britt Baker's attire. I don't know if you guys noticed the attire. I did.
What bugged you about that?
The fact that there were teeth on it. Like, I get it, she's a dentist, but like her attire was like not actual teeth, but like if I remember, like the back of her top was just like one big tooth, and I'm like,
that's something Vince would do.
Well, no. What Vince would do is he'd take a giant future mayor, give him a dentist gimmick, but also make him have horrible teeth.
Yeah.
Not that he's ever done that before. But yeah, it's not even a pet peeve because I mean I expect them for these 4-way matches, but I did find I was kind of hoping they would have broken the usual fatal 4-way mold by having 4 people in the ring doing stuff more often than not. But no, it was a lot of it's these 2 people's turn to fight. You 2 will go. Let you 2 take a nap.
yeah, and that's pretty much how it ended, right? I think it was.
The two monster ladies were out on the floor in a coma because when you wrestle a multi-person match, you have 1/10 of your hit points apparently, and that's how it goes. And then Baker was able to pull off the win over Kylie Ray.
Yeah, I honestly thought Kylie Ray was gonna win it. She you could totally tell she put a lot into this match.
Yeah, definitely. And the crowd was definitely into her. How's I've heard her gimmick described? Better Bailey act.
Yeah, I don't see the Bailey thing. Like, I get it. Like, she's, I guess, cheerful.
It was kind of it does have elements of like that the cheerfulness of NXT Bailey, but with and some of that naivete. Definitely not like ruined main roster Bailey was for the longest time, but
Oh yeah.
But like when Bailey first started showing up in NXT, and she was just basically her gimmick was almost Mark was happy to be there. Kylie Ray has elements of that, but is different enough to be her own woman, I think.
Yeah, I think she's just excited to. I think her character is just that she's excited to be there.
I mean, she even remained excited during that super lame pre-show skit with the 2 librarians.
Oh, that's right.
Skit so bad that it made me hate something involving Leva Bates, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
No, they're the same gimmick. I mean, there's just different definitive properties to them, like Bailey being a hugger and the wacky inflatable.
And a lot more, and Bailey was a lot more childlike in some ways than Kylie. Kylie's just I'm smiling, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, see, and I think that's what's different about it because Bailey was more like, oh my god, this is so and so, where Kylie Ray is just happy no matter who it is.
There's differences, but it's like 2 guys that are like both chicken shit heels that like there's differences between them character wise, but they're the same type of gimmick. They serve their own purpose and their own role the same in the story.
I think we can all agree on this though. If the WWE ever got their hands on Kylie Ray, Vince would turn her into female Eugene.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
That's horrible.
Especially where I can picture that happening.
Yeah, I honestly don't have much written down for this match. It was a good match. Out of the 2 female matches, the other one was better. But
was it ever?
but this was not saying that this one was bad. The one thing I did notice was Awesome Kong. She's usually like she does her striking. There was a couple times where she would quote strike, and it came off like she was just like slightly tapping her on the cheek, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, no, girl, like you gotta slap the crap out of this one. Like they know why they're in here.
Yeah, she needs to kind of remember how she wrestled before she went off and did glow and became an actress.
Especially for this show, you got to go hard on this one. I mean, everyone else is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like first show, go as hard as possible.
I mean, unless her new gimmick is female Orange Cassidy.
That'd be funny. Where are we moving on to? Next match was Best Friends defeating Angelico and Jack Evans. I know me and Argyle are going to disagree on this, but before we get into that, this is a match with Bryce as a referee. It's pretty much one of my favorite referees. I don't know if it's weird if you guys have any type of favorite referees, but this is somebody I've been following for what are we 2019, more than 10 years. Back when he still does Chikara, I think, but
yeah,
back in Chikara when I was into it, like 2007, 2008, he was there, and it's just
that's
great
what I know
for him.
from.
It's great just to see him up here at AEW, just along with the rest of the talent. But yeah, I was pretty excited when he was announced for this. Anyways, let's get into the match. It was Best Friends, and Angelico and Jack Evans.
It's so good to see Jack Evans on a major platform. I gotta say before we get anything else out of the way.
Nah, dude, he was a star. He pretty much came out as like the star of this match.
He's a national treasure.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with Angelico. I just felt like there was nothing there coming from him in this match.
Yeah, considering he normally has a reputation of being an overachieving tryhard with his in-ring work, he kind of went the opposite of that for the match. I feel.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. I expected so many crazy spots coming his way, and just nope, didn't get him.
But
I don't know if that's on us for setting our bar too high, or if he was just not feeling it, or what happened.
Something, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, Jack. Go ahead.
He has been during his Lucha Underground tenure. He went out 2 or 3 times with bad leg injuries. Maybe he's just really tentative because of that.
Something, I don't know, man. But yeah, Jack Evans was the star of this. He was pulling out some great spots. Chuck Taylor, Trent were pretty much feeding Jack Evans spots. It was great. One thing I have written down was the Falcon Arrow by Chuck Taylor, and commentary says nobody kicks out of the Falcon Arrow.
Yeah, I love that.
Chuck Taylor says nobody kicks out of the Falcon Arrow, and then 1-2 and he kicks out, and I'm laughing. I thought that was a great spot.
I'll be honest. There's times in professional wrestling that I get irrationally pissed off, and I know it's irrational. I know it's stupid and it's nitpicking. And one of it is when some talent are just a little bit out of shape, and like not so much out of shape where that's kind of their gimmick and that's who they are, and that embodies them and their wrestling style. But just a little bit where it just pisses me off. I'm like, why can't you just spend a little bit more time in the gym? And just tone up a bit, and then it pisses me off for the whole match sometimes, and I just lose it because I can't stop thinking about it. Anyway, that's Chuck Taylor, and that's what I was.
Yeah, for me, it's when people that look like they have bodies that they look like they should be fit but aren't, which is why I make nonstop jokes about Cassius Ohno and Trent Seven, because they both look like they put a little work in the gym. And Cassius Ohno used to look good.
Yeah, like I can get with Cassius Ohno. Like Trent Seven's one of the guys that pisses me off. That's just there's no excuse. You're a professional wrestler. Get into shape. Look like a fighter. I get if it's a part of your gimmick. and then you wrestle that way
Or
according
even
to
like
your body size and shape.
people like Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, they just have that body shape that even if they worked harder and put themselves into shape, they're always going to have that husky build, so it fits them. And it doesn't impede their work, at least. But guys
No,
like
and they sculpt their gimmicks around it, and
yeah,
their
exactly.
whole persona and attitude around that. That yeah, they mean they're not bodybuilders, but they're tough guys. You know, they're guys that you don't want to have a bar fight with for sure. And they look that way at the camera. They look that way at their opponents. You know, they look intimidating. That's a part of their whole persona. But yeah, there's guys that are just like a little bit out of shape that just pisses me off. I don't know how I got so much in this tangent, but I I do know that that's what was getting in the
Hey,
way.
it's a legit concern. According to Eric Bischoff, that and lack of a tan is why they screwed Sting at Starrcade '97.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric Bischoff.
What else? But yeah, they did the Falcon Arrow spot. They did the Rainmaker hug spot. Kind of messed it up a little bit, but it was great nonetheless.
That was.
I was super excited for that. What happens? Who win? Best friends win, right?
Yeah.
And then
they try to hug it out with Angelico and Jack Evans, who just want a handshake.
Yeah, that's right. And then the lights start turning off. Yeah,
and then people that no one's ever heard of or knows, including commentary. Ugh.
Okay, so I think I was talking to you, intern, or this was in the chat forum. I think it was your. I don't know where I got it from, but they mentioned how there's no way they're going to be allowed to be used the Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
In AEW TV, so I think it was just like they knew who it was, especially I want to say Generico. That's not who was on commentary. Excalibur. Excalibur. Like he should know who they are
more than anyone else in that building.
Exactly. So with that going on, I guess the only way they could have gotten is like, oh my god, that's player uno and player dos, you know. Yeah, exactly. Super Smash Brothers come out.
It was a little inconsistent from Excalibur because there was a few times in the pay-per-view that he mentioned that he knows guys well.
Yeah.
So I get what they're trying to do, but
they must have just wanted to play them off as being just mystery unknown people. But yeah. I mean, the crowd sure reacted like that was the case.
Yeah, and this is the one spot I was talking about where the crowd kind of just went stupid. Where and I was getting into it with a lot of the people from the page on Facebook, where they're like, "Oh, stop trying to act like you know everything," and I'm like, "I'll give you this by looking at play." I'll tell them, "Look, I'll give you this by looking at player Dos by himself. I could not tell you who that was.
Yeah,
but looking at player Uno at his mask, knowing him from back in the day, I knew who that was."
It's not even like they wrestle in some just tiny little indie no one's heard of. I mean,
exactly.
Chikara and PWG that
they were
those
exactly
should be the meat and drink of this crowd.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. Like, you freaking smarks want to talk like you know everything, but when somebody pops up that hasn't been relevant, and when did he turn evil? Maybe like 4 years ago.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, where he went with Evo Uno.
Yeah.
They didn't know who it was, and I'm like, come on, you guys talk about, like, especially the crowd there, like, they want to be like the all-knowing, I know better than Vince McMahon, this and that.
Yeah. The whole reason why people on the internet hate the word smart, or hate smarks and condescend on people that are hardcore fans, that if they have just a tiny bit of knowledge, because they lump so many of us together.
Exactly. And then, who are you? I'm like, are you guys kidding me?
To be fair, I also remember getting equally mad when the NXT crowd of all people chanted that at Paul Ellering when he showed up.
Oh, that's right.
Where are your freaking wrestling history?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, he looks exactly the same too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the only difference for Evo Uno or Player Uno, I don't know which name they're gonna go with, um, is that his mask got darker.
Yeah.
That's it. But everything else is the
Was the
same.
NXT crowd saying that to Ellering, or was it Authors of Pain?
It was probably to the authors of pain, but
Uh-huh.
I prefer to think that they were just a bunch of idiot smarks who didn't know who Paul Ellering was.
Yeah, but yeah, Super Smash Brothers came out, and then they came out with their minions, and then they did this throne thing, this human
Oh, the
throne.
human throne was so good.
Yeah, it came out great. Like it came out great on TV. But yes, I'm excited for the Super Smash Brothers or whatever name they decide to.
The hyper hit siblings.
Yeah, I don't know what name they're gonna go with, but I'm excited for them. What's next? Next was the other women's match.
The hardest to pronounce match on the card.
I got this. It was the Joshi match. It was Hikaru Shida, Ryo Abe, Ryu this is where I'm gonna mess up.
Ryu Mizunami, yeah.
Mizunami defeated Asia Kong, Yuka Zakazaki,
Sakazaki.
who I completely fell in love with, like right off the back, and Emi Sakura. First of all, this was a great introduction to Joshi, I feel, for the US crowd. To the ones that don't know anything about Joshi. Have I seen Joshi before? Yes, I've seen a couple matches here and there. Enough to know who these girls are? No. But this was a great match nonetheless. Like I said, I fell in love with Yuka, like off the bat.
Oh, so great.
Yeah, so great. Who else did I like? I think it was Emi.
Emi Sakura.
Emi's the one that came out as like a ringleader, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was great.
And of course, Aja Kong is Aja Kong. She's a freaking legend.
Yeah, this is one of the things where I did notice. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but when they were coming out, the videos were messed up.
Yep.
Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, apparently Riho Abe's name is Ryo Mizunami, or vice versa. I don't know which they had it.
Yeah, they were playing the wrong videos. Like the songs, I guess, were correct because they were dancing to their music, but the Titantron in the back was just wrong. They were showing the wrong names, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they'll fix it. And I thought they fixed it, and then they were just kept cutting it, and I'm like, what's going on?
It was almost as good as when Rude and Gable were the Usos for that brief moment on Raw.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, they had the Usos on a nameplate show up for
it was like a marquee came up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great because the Usos was a surprise. Right? Well, the Usos were supposed to be a superstar shake-up surprise. Oops.
Oh, where are we at? Here we go. This is the match where the bell rang at a 2 count.
Yep.
I don't have her name, but the female ref in this match, I loved how it was 1, 2. The bell was ringing, and she stared at the bell guy like, "Dude, are you serious?"
Yeah. Nope.
Like, no, it's a 2. You're jumping the gun here. So I thought that was great. I honestly have nothing written down for this, but it was a great match. I was just honestly watching it and enjoying it.
Yeah, this may have is right up there in my pantheon of introduction to Joshi matches now with Survivor Series '95, and that one there featured mostly Joshi talent. Funny enough, also Aja Kong.
That was what, 95?
Yeah,
95.
Yeah, there was Medusa and a team of Joshi against I think Rhonda Singh in a group of Joshi, and it was just for a match that was just thrown in cold with Japanese women, American audiences didn't know. Incredible stuff. And then also in '95, WCW did some two back-to-back awesome matches involving Bull Nakano and not Linus Asako, Akira Hokuto, and then a couple. I can't remember the other women. This match joins those two in my pantheon of matches to show American fans who might want to get into Joshi, or that you want to get them into Joshi. So definitely high marks for me.
It was a great introduction. I do have a question.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys remember. Did Yuka come out with the title around her?
I don't remember actually.
Couldn't tell you. This was another match that I was switching streams on.
She is a champion in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, so that could be.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like I was after, well, not straight after, but the last couple days since Saturday, I've been watching a couple of the Joshi matches, and every time she has a title around her, and I'm like, is this like an actual title, or is this just something like she carries as a prop? But no, it's like an actual title.
Yeah.
And I was trying to
remember.
How
adorable would it be if it was just a prop that she carried?
Dude, it worked. She's amazing. I love her.
Yeah.
Totally jumped up on my like favorites list really quick.
Yep.
Let's move on. Next we have Cody defeating Dustin Rhodes.
What a bloody match! However you will.
There was a lot of blood.
Did you guys see how Dustin got opened up?
Well, I know his head hit the turnbuckle, but I don't know if he bladed afterwards or.
That's what I assumed, or at least was the spot. I noticed. I'm trying to get my times right, but the thing I didn't notice that was interesting was when Brandy Rhodes had her spot where she got kicked out of ringside and
after she speared him.
It was right after that where he came out bloody.
If you look at the camera angle on it, they actually show Dustin on the ground, and he kind of crawls like under the ring, like his head under the ring, and grabs something.
That's where I feel like it happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's where I feel it happened. Yeah.
At the very least, the way that blood gushed out, there is no way that was accidental, unless he took a bunch of Tylenol just by happenstance and thinned his blood out. Because most people don't bleed out that.
Dude, this reminded me of pouring. This reminded me of when Eddie Guerrero bladed and he hit it a little too hard.
Yeah.
Like there was like stream of blood.
This reminds me of the Mortal Kombat 11 matches I play every Friday night.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot. But before the match, Cody going up to the throne and destroying the throne. I thought that was a nice little spot.
Little touch, but at the same time, it's like, dude, don't acknowledge the competition. That's stupid. Don't be WCW.
Dude, it was that's one of the things that I feel was another thing that's bad with the show. It was a lot of anti-WWE. Whereas I feel like they should have taken the high road with like, you're right, who the hell is the WWE? We're here, we're doing our spots.
I guess Cody's still upset about being called, or about his AEW being called the pissant company at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not bothered by that. I mean, that was the whole story for this match, was Cody killing the Attitude Era. I don't think it was like for the show as a whole. Like,
Cody's killing the Attitude Era, and freaking Chris Jericho's over there killing.
While Jim Ross calls it.
Yeah. While Jim Ross calls it.
And Billy Gunn competes in their battle royal with Tommy Dreamer.
And Jim Ross talking about how he wants to bring Jerry the King Lawler into it.
Yep. Yeah, that'll teach you Attitude Era.
Exactly.
You know what? It would be better than Alex Marvez. That's for damn sure.
To be fair, Mitch the Potted Plant would be better than Alex Marvez.
That's true. I mean, after the match, I mean, we had that. It was kind of an emotional moment there with Dustin and Cody.
Oh, that was incredible.
I don't know if you guys saw. Like immediately after that, they went to the broadcast team, and Jim Ross was looking a little choked up, and Alex Marvez just looked stone cold, like emotionless, like nothing. And it's funny to mention.
This was really of all the moments on the show, this was one of them. That's not a thing he said, but that was his attitude.
Does this guy has he done commentary before?
No, this is his first wrestling commentary job. He did a football report, or something to do with football. So Tone, that's probably the only reason he has a job, because the cons.
Okay. So then,
check it out. It's funny to mention too, like in that same little segment, like Excalibur showed more emotion with a freaking luchador mask on. I mean, he put his hand under to like wipe tears from his face.
Yep.
And then you can just tell, like, just from that little gesture, like what was going on with him. Like he was looking down at the ground, and he has a mask on, and you can tell just from that gesture how he's feeling. And
dude, some of these guys with the mask are just too good. Where like they could show emotion through a mask. So I don't see that as something big. But yeah, I get what you mean.
I mean, just Alex Marvez sucked. All right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just like, that's why I asked if this was his first event, because I also remember us doing the first podcast and how freaking robotic I came off.
It should be his last, no matter what. Oh.
I don't know.
Tell us how you really feel, Argyle.
Right? What did I have written down? Cody did his little Stardust pose gimmick, and I wrote down Cody might be Stardust. And then that one page that I know that Argyle loves, Vince McMahon tweeting is like, "Where the hell is Stardust?"
Vince McMahon Googling. It's like, where the hell Stardust been?
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, it was not a 3-star match. As much as I like to call Cody 3-star Cody.
What, did you like it a little better than a 3-star match?
Yes, but I don't think it was because of Cody.
I'm gonna say that at his age, Dustin is looking better, or like is working better now than he has ever before.
Yeah,
I liked it because it was different than the other matches. It helped pacing wise too.
Yeah, definitely.
It almost put us on like a different era and different time.
I was listening to a podcast earlier today, the ADCs of wrestling, where they were talking about Double or Nothing, and one of the two members on there put it best, where he's like, the rest of the show is great. This is the first match on the show that felt like pro wrestling to me, like pro wrestling I grew up with.
Yeah.
And if you were a JCP or NWA fan like myself when I was a kid, that's what this felt like. This felt like that realistic, visceral Southern wrestling with storytelling and drama and just realistic, brutal violence in this case.
I think Jim Ross actually put that over too. He said like this match reminds him of a Dusty Rhodes and Terry Funk match. I think he said, which
I just definitely disagree about it reminding me of a Dusty Rhodes match, because it didn't have a screw finish afterwards where a referee reversed the decision. Right. Yeah, I'm still gonna make jokes about Dusty Rhodes. I don't care.
And that was one of the things that people thought they were gonna do, because Hebner was the ref for this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading about it, like as the pay-per-view was going on, and they're like, Errol Hebner is the ref for this. Just wait for the screw job that they're gonna try to do. And I'm like, please just let that die. I am over this whole screw job crap.
Yeah, I think he was just out there because the Young Bucks wanted to keep him away from their T-shirts, didn't want him taking any and selling them on the side.
Yeah.
You know what else is kind of an old school feel that I think Dustin really gets credit for is making kind of we think of now as just kind of simple moves like DDTs and stuff, but making them effective, like Dustin's power slam. Dustin's power slam, I mean, is incredible, but he makes it meaningful. You know,
the one where the snap, right, where he just snaps on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an awesome looking move, but I mean, that's something that's almost like dated now, I guess.
No, for sure. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, he definitely makes that definitely has meaning to all their moves and everything they're doing.
Yeah, that power slam that you brought up, you're right. It's one of my favorites because, like, it's one of those old school things, right? Where a lot of these newer guys are not using it. It's kind of like you said, it's dated.
You really only see that in Randy Orton matches now.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Orton's
yeah. Yeah, Cody defeats his brother Dustin, and then after we get a little mic time with both of them, and he says, "I guess it's for the next one, the next pay-per-view that they're gonna hold."
Yeah, I gotta say, I liked when Cody first got in the ring. I think Dustin was he was somewhere around the middle of the ring, and when Cody got in, Dustin backed up like immediately, as if he was scared that Dustin was going to attack him again. And he backed up into that corner, because he was cornered, or he just looked scared for his life. Like, that was a really nice touch. He wasn't just in the corner there resting the whole time. He backed up scared that Cody was going to attack him again. That was cool.
But yeah, they announced that that it's gonna be Cody and Dustin against the Young Bucks for the next pay-per-view. But I liked how he brought it up. Like, I knew exactly where he was gonna, like, I have a friend, I have this and that, but I need a brother. I'm like, I saw that coming, but the way he delivered it, it was just so good. I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see where Cody moves on with this, and probably moves off that 3-star Cody nickname.
I got all the feels for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Likewise.
All right, now probably my favorite match of the freaking night. The Young Bucks defeated the Lucha Bros.
Such a good match. I even forgave the fact that I didn't like the outcome.
Yeah, I was bothered by the outcome, but it was whatever. One thing I do want to bring up before we even get into the whole match was I forgot who it was on commentary, but they brought up the whole Lucha Bros growing up and using their underwear as masks. And when he said, it totally took me to like 5-year-old me with my freaking chonies on my head. Like, I completely forgot about that. And then he said that, and I pictured myself with my underwear on my head, and I'm like, oh my god, he's 100% correct. I did this crap when I was a child. Yeah. Like,
honestly, the whole video package and setup for this was really good. Even for the Young Bucks too, like they were trying to tell a story how they haven't had a match recently and they could have ring rust because of it.
Yeah, that was one of the things. I think I mentioned it on last week's podcast, where like they haven't wrestled in so long, so there was going to be a lot of ring rust, but it came off great.
And they had 2 video packages of them growing up, how they're brothers as well, and it was kind of the same feel as the Lucha Bros. Great video package. I also liked how they put a tail of the tape up there right before the match.
Yes,
make it feel more like a authentic fight feel. That was cool.
Yeah, it was more of like a main event type deal, right? Yeah. What else? Getting into the match, dude. Those chops from Phoenix, I would not want to take that.
Oh.
Those are loud.
Dude,
like, I usually associate that. Oh, go ahead.
Phoenix was God mode this match.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like, I usually associate those loud chops with Pentagon's chest slaps, but man, Phoenix is like, nope, I'm not going to be outdone in that department today.
Yeah, but this whole match was just amazing. What else? The Phoenix, his rope work, just going on, still staying on Phoenix. He was just amazing. I uploaded the video to it where he was jumping up and down between the middle and the top. He super kicks one of the brothers, and then he goes for Hurricane Rana, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing.
What really got me about the... Oh, go ahead, sorry. I'll let you continue.
No, go ahead. Moving on to the next point.
One of the things that really got me about this match too is, although it was that indie-rific spot fest like you come to expect, there was its own form of storytelling in there, like with the Bucks breaking out moves that were used in matches they've had in their past to try to put the Lucha Brothers away. That's incredible. That was so great.
I think they got in Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, they did the
Generico and Steen.
Yes. It was the Brainbuster. And then
they got the Generico Brainbuster. That's right.
They did the Double Destroyers.
I think along with that story is and Excalibur said this too. He said something to the effect of like no one's called more matches than I have, and I'm seeing moves out of these guys right now that I've never seen before. Yeah. And so it's I think it's continuing on the story that they might have ring rust. And they're trying to just get out, not their comfort zone, but they're trying new things, and they've trained for this.
Yeah. And even the match finish being the Pentagon breaking whichever Jackson's arm, but then him still soldiering through and doing the one-armed Meltzer driver. Yes. Again, I'm telling you, for everyone that snarks on indie wrestling as being spot, you can still tell stories within that context, and this match was a perfect example of that.
I think I honestly think people give that crap where it's just a bunch of spots, no storytelling, has never seen a Young Bucks match, because this goes back to them being in Ring of Honor. This goes back to them being in New Japan. There are times where one of the Jackson brothers, I forget which one, but they will sell a back injury the whole freaking match. It's not like we're in WWE where they're selling an injury and then a leg injury, and then 2 seconds later they're running at full speed.
Cough, Seth Rollins, cough.
Yeah, exactly, stuff like that. But the Young Bucks, they will sell an injury, and it like I said, it was the arm. He was going up for the Meltzer driver, and they were just is he gonna be able to grip it? And he couldn't, so he did it one-handed, and they called that out. That's storytelling. And this is a Young Bucks match. It was very, as much as the new things that came out, it was very Young Bucks-ish. But it wasn't bad. I'm not trying to say this was
the exact opposite of bad.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm not even the biggest Young Bucks fan in the world, and I'm after watching this match, I may have to revise my stance, because that's just between that and a lot of their later New Japan work really won me over beforehand. Anyway, despite my little snarky joke there,
they even won over the Revival with
right.
their fast-paced wrestling style. I mean, I think Scott Dawson was the one. He tweeted right immediately after the match ended. He tweeted saying, "This is tag team wrestling," or he's just tag team wrestling.
And then in his mind, he was like, "I wish I were there instead."
Yeah.
And the whole tag team wrestling thing, even the crowd was super into it. They were calling a simple chant, tag team wrestling.
All right, I got an unpopular opinion, if I may. This like I said, this may be unpopular. I might get buried for this and get some heat for it.
Might get muted.
I don't know about muted. I just might get some heat from the superstars and superverse here. I don't think this was. I'm gonna say this nicely. I don't think this was Jim Ross's best match that he called that night. No. And that's putting it nicely. And I think I can even go as far as to say, or at least lobby for it and make an argument that Jim Ross just isn't good in this style. There was something in particular that bothered me. He wasn't getting too hyped for a lot of near falls. And I think with this style, and especially Bucks matches and stuff, you're gonna get a lot of false finishes, and you're gonna get a lot of near falls.
You can almost hear him getting upset with them having to call that many near falls.
Yeah, there was one. It was Pentagon. I think it was a package pile driver into Phoenix's senton, a top rope senton.
Yeah,
that spot was huge. I was watching that, and in my honest assessment, in the moment, I was like, this is done. That move right there just has the match. And Jim Ross he wasn't hyped for it. There was nothing that was a huge spot for it on commentary that this was gonna put him away. Oh, I can't believe they kicked out. Yeah, there was nothing
Yeah.
from that, and I think it did them. I mean, especially in that spot, did the Lucha Bros a disservice for that spot in particular. But just
It also did the Bucks a disservice because by not making that call, kind of kills the story that the Bucks might be outgunned at this point in the match, but they're only surviving through sheer gritty, like being able to grit through and kick out, tap into something superhuman, and kick out of things they shouldn't be able to.
True, very very true. Yeah, like I said, I guess I'll just go the route. It wasn't his best match, I think, of the night.
Yeah.
No, it's the kind of thing I think he'll do better with once he educates himself a little more in that kind of wrestling and yes, I'm using the word psychology in an indie match, I know, but what the psychology of that style of match is and how it should be called.
Can you call this indie?
Well, I mean the indie style.
Okay, I get you, man. One thing I do want to bring up about Pentagon Jr. The Cero Miedo thing. I was trying to keep count of how many times he was gonna do it. I lost track after a couple.
Yeah.
I've seen this guy live a couple times, and it doesn't come off as bad when I'm watching it on TV or watching it wherever. But when it's live, it just gets excessive. Like he does it. I feel like he did it all the freaking time. I don't know if you were there, Argyle, when we went to go watch.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But like everything was Cero Medio, and I'm like, all right, just hit the guy. I don't care, no fear. Like I get it. But like,
it was great. It's one of those things. It was great the first time he did it, but yeah.
I'll be honest, for Lucha Underground tapings, that might have just been because it was taped and they're not using all of them and finding the best spots for it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I remember like being there live a couple times. And I'm like, oh my god, how many times are we gonna say today?
Yeah.
But yeah, overall the match was great. It finishes with the Meltzel driver. Yeah, I was disappointed the Bucks won, but overall the match was amazing.
I had made the joke, the Bucks booked themselves into a victory, but realistically, if it's for the AAA title. There's always a good chance. I think there's a high chance that wasn't even in AEW's control. That AAA probably has control over who wins their title, right?
Yeah, and that was one of my that's one of the things I wanted to bring up. This goes back to when Cody was the NWA champion, and they're like, oh, this was at All In, and they're like, oh, Cody's gonna book himself to win, and I'm like, Cody's gonna book himself to win a title match that he has no control over the title. Like that doesn't make sense. Like yeah, it might be at All In, but that doesn't work. Same thing with this. The Bucks probably have a deal with AAA of when they're gonna lose that title.
Yeah.
So like that's where my head was at during this. I was just
if you don't like the outcome, blame Conan, not the Bucks.
Dude, is Conan with AAA?
Yeah, he's been doing their creative unless he quit.
Dude, Conan moves around so much.
Yeah, especially with that company where it's like, oh, he's working for them. Up now he's on the outs and they hate each other. Up now he's back and he hates Vampiro. It's a lot to work with him.
Yeah. Like, last thing I heard, he was not the last thing I heard, but one of the few things that I remember was that he was with that Crash promotion, and then they kicked him out.
Yeah.
And then I just have no idea. He's back in TNA. I know that, and I thought that was gonna go down the crapper because of what happened. Even though it's a different company that runs it now, I thought he would not have gone back just because of like the injury he sustained and them not want to cover it.
Yeah,
I don't know where he's at, but yeah.
But yeah, last I'd heard he was booking AAA, but I'm just double checking here.
Yeah, I have no idea where he's at.
Yeah, I don't know what he's still booking, but he's still in AAA as well as MLW and TNA. So there you go. There's a chance we may be able to blame Conan for the Bucks retaining.
I guess I have no idea. All right, that was Lucha Bros contra the Young Bucks. Now for the main event. Um, I put Omega to win this in the predictions game, and
Same.
then when they started talking about this match, when right before it, they played it as Alpha versus Omega #2, and I knew 100% I messed up. 100%
Yeah.
I knew Omega, not Omega. I knew Chris Jericho was gonna win it.
I didn't.
Just the way because they're like, this is Alpha versus Omega 2, and I'm kind of like, crap. Like I completely forgot about their last match, and the way that they're playing Alpha versus Omega, I felt like Omega's not gonna win this.
I'm still surprised.
Really? As soon as they said that, I was like, there.
When I mean, I made that post immediately after the match by saying, "Oh, so much for killing the Attitude Era." I mean, that was
yeah.
That's how I was feeling at the time. Like, what is this? I mean, until Moxley came out and it made a little more sense. But yeah, at the time, I was like, what is going on here? Like, you have Omega, who should be your top guy, and this is the biggest pay-per-view that you got to sell your television deal coming up, and viewers for that, and you're just gonna kind of dork him out.
Well, I guess they decided to go with the guy with more mainstream visibility and whatnot.
And then I also thought like, who? So this was for a chance at the title.
Yeah.
The other end of this was Adam Page.
Yeah.
I don't think they would want to put Adam Page versus Omega this early on into their thing.
Yeah.
Like once the match started and I started like actually thinking with a clear head and pretty much just actually thinking like an adult, because I would like to say that this pay-per-view, the lead up to the pay-per-view and the pay-per-view itself, it took me back to being a kid. Like it was excitement all around, for me at least. I don't know how you guys felt about it. I was super excited beforehand, super excited during, and to right now us talking about it, I'm freaking excited to talk about it.
I'm still super stoked about what happened there. Like,
Yeah.
Another buddy of mine had actually ordered it midway through, so he missed the first good chunk of it, and he was super stoked about it as well, and going on almost like you said, like back to the childhood of just being a simple mark.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a little. I think it's a little more to it. I think that's because like we're just in a really good time period in pro wrestling. Like I get up for like NXT takeovers. Like I get freaking pumped. I know that they're going to be an amazing show. I know the matches are going to be awesome. I get into the builds for all of it, but it was a different feel for this one, for Double or Nothing, and I think that's because, at least in my head, I'm rooting for their success because of what it means for the WWE. And like, we haven't had a competition like this, or at least with the potential to be competition and kind of shake things up, especially when like our programming in WWE has been so stale. And like this is just exciting, not only to watch a good show, but just kind of what it means for pro wrestling as an industry.
Yeah,
exactly.
My thing was the whole that excitement, like even internet read right now, was beforehand, throughout the entire show, and still to this day. For WWE, the last time I can remember that I felt that excited was when Bayley won the championship off Charlotte. That just happened at Money in the Bank. Before that, it was Kofi winning the championship at WrestleMania. But those are small little there's just like little bursts of excitement, I guess, compared to this.
I'll be honest. I think the most I felt since like just hyped for pro wrestling was Kevin Owens' debut match against John Cena. Because that one, I had an interest in like Owens better win this match. Like not only do I want to have a good show, but I want this guy to win, or I want this show to succeed for other reasons that's just this match, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Kevin Owens match with Cena, I was on the edge of my seat every near fall. I was like a kid again.
Replace Kevin Owens and Cena with Nakamura and Zayn, and you have my match for that. That made me feel like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, going back to the Alpha versus Omega. First of all, I would like to say that I marked out for Jericho's entrance.
Oh, so good.
How
When
about
I
how about referee versus Cracker Barrel?
That too.
hold on, let's go back a couple minutes.
Real main
before
event.
that. When I legit thought we're gonna get Lionheart, Chris Jericho, and I marked the hell out.
Oh, that
And
would
then
have been
the
too
lights
good.
go off, and then the freaking Jericho with the list of Jericho comes out, and I'm like, oh, I see what he's doing here. And
A
then
little sad that
everybody,
we did. Little sad that we didn't get short-haired suited Jericho reference because that was seriously one of the better wrestling characters of the mid 2000s. But
yeah, and then he comes out, and then the lights go off again. The jacket lights up, and the crowd pops for that because
yeah,
as much as I'm not gonna attack him anymore. Never mind. As the jacket goes off, the music comes on, and we get "Am I Evil?" Chris Jericho, and I was excited. Um, Chris Jericho comes out, and then I honestly thought Kenny Omega's entrance was kind of meh.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I was expecting him to pull out the big guns.
Yeah, I expected something big. It was very meh.
Yeah, they just dorked him out all around.
Yeah, and then we have that spot of Crackle Barrel versus the ref,
Referee, yep.
and then Jericho has to interfere in that match.
Jericho cashes in on.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of spots on this. One thing I
That
do
was
want to
another
mention.
production screw up, and I think you can tell Chris Jericho's pissed.
Yeah.
Like being in that moment, like I can't believe this is happening right now. Like right now,
Yes,
come on.
like we're about to start this main event. Like this could have happened on the pre-show, and we would have been fine.
Like the world is watching right now to see if we succeed and knock this out of the park for
Yeah.
pro wrestling, and this happens.
Yeah, but I think Jericho played it off perfectly. Like he was pissed, as he has a right to, but like it also like
yeah.
fed it. It fed into his character very well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if Kenny Omega did that and then he went back to being happy about it, I'm like, yeah. But Jericho doing it was great. I don't have a lot written down for this match. I was just trying to enjoy it. One thing I did catch was I have until 5 yell at the ref that
Yep.
throws it back to damn it, I always forget his name.
I always think of Kevin Owens when I hear that chant that myself because he does that quite a bit.
He does that, but also dude, American Dragon, Brian Daniels.
Yeah, Brian Danielson, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching a couple of his matches. He's like, I have until 5.
Yeah.
And it was just great. That was a nice little throwback. The diving stomp onto the table. Holy crap, that was great.
Yep. I marked out for it in Wrestle Kingdom. I marked out for it here again. Jericho going and ringing the bell and then celebrating.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that
so
was great.
good.
Yeah, there's a couple
Jericho's
throwbacks.
body was half as good as his character work. But
I
he's
will-
still
I
rocking
will
the dad
say-
bod.
Even with that, yeah, the dad bod and Jericho might be moving a little slower here and lost a little step. He still works pretty hard, like tough. I mean, there is some tough
And
chops.
he's adjusted a lot of his style around that too, and works a little more brawly than he had in his past, which works out well for him, I think.
Dude,
Yeah.
but he was doing a lot of his things where he was
Yes.
jumping off the ropes.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
he's doing
like-
stuff I hadn't seen him doing in quite some time. It was impressive.
Yeah, it was great. Like they called off a lot of his lion gimmick, and I'm like, holy crap, he's actually doing this. I think he did it twice.
Lion tamer, right? Like
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
as opposed to Walls of Jericho. Yeah.
yeah, and I love that I'm like, holy crap, they're actually giving it its proper name, and yeah, Chris Jericho really did well in this match, at least in my eyes. What else? One thing I do have to say is Kenny Omega's his V triggers. I think that he did 2 of them, and I felt like he just did not put everything into them. it wasn't like a V trigger from New Japan where he was running at full speed. He jumps and like just pops the guy.
Oh yeah, those are nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it wasn't like V trigger, type deal. And then the Judas effect. Oh my god, that was horrible. That's one thing I could say.
It's Jericho's own version of John Cena's lightning fist. Even worse. One thing, my other big note for the match, and this is like the dumbest thing to mark out over it, but I'm me, so of course I'm going to. I marked out a big time over when they went through the table that had been set up earlier. I marked out over Excalibur, referring to it as Chekhov's table. If anyone's read any of my reviews, whenever a table or chair or anything is set up in Act 1 of the match, then used later on, like Act 2 or 3, I always referred to it as Chekhov's whatever, based on that writing principle. So I was like, yes, someone gets me and is speaking directly to me in commentary form.
Right. He was calling you out, man. He's like, this is for you, intern.
Exactly.
I'm giving you writing material. This is for you. But yeah, this, like I said, I don't have that many notes on this match. I was just watching it. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
So many kickouts of dragon suplexes and stuff, but a little back elbow was enough to end it. What the crap?
Yeah, I don't. That ending with that elbow came out kind of rushed.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he didn't get the full power of it.
No.
It's I wouldn't know how to describe it, but yeah, it didn't come off as this I feel like as it should be, because who's the one that has the really good elbow in WWE? Andrade.
Yeah.
Andrade does it, and when you have Andrade using it, when you have other guys using it in WWE, and it doesn't do much, it's just kind of like it's to get the other guy to back off, and then you have Chris Jericho to connect with a half-assed elbow, and then Kenny Omega lays there the 1-2-3, and he lays there for an extended period of time. I'm all like, this is too much. Like
it was a Shane McMahon's punches of elbows.
They tried to put that
like
over in like a video package promo beforehand during the week previous, that like while he was doing his MMA training, like I think it was his MMA trainer was saying like that strike is one of the most devastating moves in MMA.
No, yeah, but even before the match started, the commentators were talking about how like maybe there is no Judas elbow, maybe he's just making it up to get in Kenny's mind, to get in his head to play mind games with him. Yeah.
And it's like, no, it exists. It just makes Kenny look like a complete goober for having to lay in a coma for several minutes off of a glancing blow.
Yeah, and then match was over. Jericho wins, and then who was that guy? John Moxley pops up.
Never heard of him.
I looked this guy up. He's been missing for 8 years. I think he did jail time. I don't know what's going on with him.
He looks familiar though.
He
I hear
looks
his wife's
familiar.
pretty young. Really young.
But yeah, John Moxley comes out. He goes after Jericho first, right?
Yeah.
He hits Jericho with is he
Not
still
Dirty Deeds. I don't know. Not sure if they named it.
I don't think so, but he hits that on Jericho, and then playing up to, I guess, his character now, he hits the ref with it, which I thought was a great touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that, he goes after Omega, and I honestly thought this was going to lead into the next pay-per-view where it's going to be Omega versus Moxley, because it continues on to the outside. It goes to where the stage is at, where they had these huge poker chips. And this is how I know I've been watching too much WWE. I legit thought it was I thought they CGI'd it in.
Oh.
So when they got on it, I'm like, holy crap, those are real.
That's not AR. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm all, because I was all like, oh, that's a cool touch. Like they're doing the same thing that WWE is doing. And then they go to the outside and it shows the ramp again. I'm like, wait, those chips are still there. And then they start climbing them. They start climbing the chips, and I'm kind of like, holy crap, I got played. Damn you, WWE. But yeah.
Yeah,
Did you guys ever get around to that Jericho podcast with Moxley on it?
Not yet. No, I've read a synopsis of it, but I haven't
I got
listened yet.
the synopsis of it.
He mentioned something that he snuck into a promo on his own, that it was like around the time that he knew he was going, and he wanted to protect himself. Like if they wanted to go some kind of route that like he just can't. He can't cut it here anymore. He's going to go back to the minor leagues. Like if that's what they want to do. He mentioned something in a promo that said, "Yeah, I'm taking all my chips and I'm cashing in."
Yeah.
That I actually, somebody on Reddit uploaded that video. They're like, "Oh, this is him kind of mentioning into it," but even him says it had nothing to do with him going to AEW. He just
he said that was like self-preservation and trying to protect himself.
that was just him leaving. He knew he was gone. I like I said, I haven't heard it, but from the notes that everybody has given, that he sounded miserable. Like there was a lot of going back and forth with him and Vince, and I'm like, holy
Dude
crap.
had to cut a promo where he used the words "pooper scooper."
Yeah,
that's all I need to say.
Yeah, and in turn, I read that because he was so worried on this pooper scooper crap, that the line of Roman Reigns having to answer to a higher power over the cancer thing, I'm like, holy crap! Like he was not paying attention.
Yeah, and he didn't realize how horrible it was till after he said it. It was like, wait a minute. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm in a I guess maybe the minority camp and maybe unpopular opinion, but I think Ambrose should have went in a little harder on the leukemia stuff.
No, dude.
I'm in the school of thinking that nothing's off limits in pro wrestling. At least that's
but what to say? The old school wrestling fan of me agrees. The part of me that respects the fact that Ambrose didn't want to disrespect his legit friend that way, kind of
exactly. Yeah,
it is his legit friend. He knows it's for a TV show. It's for a story.
but like especially at that point where Ambrose, now Moxley, pretty much did not give a crap of what was going on. He just was waiting to get the hell out of there. Why is he gonna give it up to Vince McMahon? Like in that video of him talking about taking the chips home, he also brings up like it's finally time where somebody told $1 million man no.
Yeah.
And at that point,
I agree with all the rest of his frustrations creatively. Like he goes on to say like many instances of him doing that on that podcast, and specific times of it. It's just that one thing that to me, nothing's off limits, and I don't know.
Dude, going off that podcast, like I've listened to Jericho's podcast a lot. His song at the beginning is just so catchy. So even when you brought it up earlier in the chat, the rest of the day I'm like, talk is Jericho.
I think it's kind of hokey.
It is hokey, but it's catchy as hell, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, I was like, talk is Jericho. And I'm like,
honestly, Jericho's kind of a hokey musician. Like, I don't know about you, you guys.
Did you ever see the original incarnation of Fozzy when they first started? The whole idea was that they actually wrote every great song in classic rock history, but when they were away in Japan, bands like Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath took credit for their works. So they were. This is back when they were just a cover band. Hokey as hell, and I loved it so much.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't take Jericho like seriously in music very much. I don't know. I think he plays musician.
He does, but he has legit musicians in there. Like at the very least, he's got Rich Ward from Stuck Mojo playing guitar in the band, and he's pretty legit.
When does Eric Rowan wear a Fozzy shirt?
when he shows up in AEW.
Oh my god!
No, that's Harper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
True that. But yeah, that was. We have anything else about AEW? I know I've pretty much said everything I can think of off the top of my head. Besides, good show. I hope you all watched it and enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I did watch it. I will say they did not get my $50, but I'm pretty sure they got. I'm pretty sure they got Vince's $50. And
Yeah, I think
Bro.
they're kind of missing the mark on that price point.
Yeah,
I mean, just small kind of takeaways that I guess would negatively reflect the show. That I think that's one of them. They might have to change that in the future. I mean, WWE is. I mean, you can get the network for free any given month with a new email address or whatever.
yeah.
And so, I mean, $50 is just it's just a prehistoric way.
that, or maybe they need to come up with their own AEW network.
Yeah, it's something.
Put in Double or Nothing, and that's it.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
I mean, there was some minor issues with production and camera direction and stuff, but yeah, overall, it was match of the night was probably the Young Bucks match.
Yep.
I got I guess one question for you guys. How do you guys compare this Double or Nothing with some of the better takeovers in the past? Do you think it's better than takeovers? Do you think it's on par?
Wrestling wise,
everything, all encompassing, production, wrestling.
production WWE has it. Wrestling wise, NXT has it. The only thing that I could say AEW had was the excitement. Like I'm not calling this a bad show, but the fact, like I said earlier, leading up to it, during, till now, it made me feel like a little kid again, where I was excited about every little thing.
I agree, and I'm still kind of there. That I think NXT is more their direct competition, at least quality of show wise. But yeah, I'm there. I think takeovers are still just a little bit better. I was hyped for the whole thing, but yeah, it was more the hype of something new and exciting.
Yeah, like if you compare Double or Nothing to a takeover, it was a much more bloated show. Not a bad show by. I mean, it was great, but it was much more bloated with matches that had no significance besides wrestling for the sake of wrestling. You didn't even really get in the matches that had any kind of build until the very last three. Whereas a takeover show, every match has a meaning behind it. The cards are shorter, but all have a big fight feel, and Double or Nothing really didn't have that feel until the very last end of it. That being said, a lot of the matches, wrestling wise, on the card would have felt very at home in the early parts of a takeover.
Yeah, it felt very New Japanish.
Yeah,
it felt very New Japanish. Even to the point where I say even New Japan is obviously better at it, just because they've been doing it a bit longer. But I feel once they get their characters lined up, once they get their production lined up, and they'll be able to run with it, and they could pretty much compete with NXT, because NXT is pretty much top of, I guess, pay-per-views. I see them up there with New Japan. But yeah, if we're going AEW or NXT, I'd go NXT on it.
Yeah, it had a really good feel. Like I can't help but think like there's so many, like WWE still has a mess of talent. Like the talent's not their problem. Like can you imagine like Kevin Owens, AJ Styles being on this Double or Nothing card? Like they would
Cesaro.
Yeah, they would steal the show, man. I mean, and how much fun would those guys be having? Like freaking Kevin Owens just tearing down the house, you know? I mean, that's a guy that you can put with Omega too, and just blow the roof off the place.
Give me Buddy Murphy versus Omega, man. I'd pay $50 for that.
Oh, I don't. What did you say? Him against Omega?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. You know, I see him in a better spot like Pac was.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah, Double or Nothing, guys. Let's wrap this up. I think we're all in consensus. We all highly enjoyed the show. What do we got coming up? So as you guys, I mean, probably all know, our biggest presence online is on Facebook. If you are unfamiliar with that somehow, then go check out the Facebook page. We are on Patreon, YouTube, Pro Wrestling Tees. Yeah, you can find this podcast anywhere. But also what we have next, I guess, coming up page-wise for our members is next predictions game, which is this Saturday, I believe. Takeover's this Saturday, right?
That's correct.
What?
Yeah, we got NXT Takeover 25.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, go to our page and see if we have that form up. We should be getting that up probably tomorrow, Thursday.
I'm pretty sure PBR's not here because he's working 24/7 on it.
Yeah.
Why are we getting the Takeover?
Because reasons. I honestly am surprised that WWE didn't air it last weekend to compete with Double or Nothing, but that's just me.
Oh, right. So yeah, we have that. We've got that coming up. That's what we got next. But yeah, if you guys aren't, check out the Patreon. We got cool stuff going on over there. GRJ, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, sir, for drinking your kombucha.
You guys say goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Top Guys out.